Hello and welcome. This is gonna be a video guide for the character Assassin using Ice Shot and Barrage. Barrage is for single target, obviously. Ice Shot is mostly for mapping. But once you are geared enough, Ice Shot alone can kill map bosses also, so you don't even have to use the Barrage at all while mapping. So Ice Shot also is a very powerful skill. So this is an Assassin. I don't like playing Deadeye anymore. I don't think Deadeye offers anything special these days. So Assassin was the choice. I'm gonna explain more stuff, more detailed stuff later in the video. So first, I will let you watch the clips. There will be lots of boss fights, some mapping, and also 100% Delirium layer of the Hydra map clear. So I will let you watch those, and I will be back later in the video explaining everything you need to know. So enjoy watching, and I will see you later. Hello again. So if you stick around to this part, then I'm sure that you are interested into trying this build. So let's start. First of all, what is this character? I'm currently 98 levels. Assassin. So why assassin? Why not something else? If you wonder. So people used to play Deadeye all the time for bow characters before 3.9, let's say, because Deadeye offers tailwind and also has chain on her ascendancy. But since they buffed chain support, this used to have like 50% less damage or something like that, but now it is 11%. And I'm not even using awakened chain, which is way better. It also adds one additional chain. So if you want to spend more, go for it. So chain support, they buffed it, so Deadeye doesn't offer that much in terms of chain. And also tailwind was the first, most obvious choice for playing a Deadeye. Now that you can get it on your boots doesn't have to be this crazy. You can just get something with a little movement speed and decent life, and that's it. You can cap your resistances somewhere else easily. I'm gonna talk about all of those stuff later. So that the chain and tailwind problems are now fixed after 3.9 patch. I don't think Deadeye offers anything special these days. So what does Assassin offers? So first of all, power charge on crit and non-crits, and also +1 maximum power charges. So you can generate power charges, which means a critical chance in mapping and also bossing. So Deadeye cannot generate any other kind of bow character. Probably can't generate power charges in bossing. So Assassin offers that. And also more related stuff to power charges, 8% multiplier per power charge, and also +2 critical strike chance while at maximum power charges. So this means that +2 isn't actually +2, it is the base crit. So let's say this bow has right now 6.7 crit chance, that will be something like 8.7, right? So it adds 2% base crit, which is more than 2%. So that's how it works. And also 10% movement speed, while at maximum power charges you are always at maximum power charges. So that's why you will get that movement speed bonus all the time. Movement speed is very good for both characters. And opportunistic, 20% movement speed if you have killed recently. So more movement speed while mapping, which is something that all bow characters need. So 30% movement speed you get from playing an assassin. So damage from your critical strikes cannot be reflected. That isn't something that you should rely on, but if you cap your crit to 100%, I currently have 65, and when the buff changes, let's see, 84, 74%. So maybe you can use increased critical strikes on your ice shot and cap that crit, maybe. So you can also do reflect maps if you want. Obviously you don't use barrage, maybe. That's something you can work on if you want, so that can be useful. 25% more damage while there is at most one rare or unique, so this means that rare yellow monsters and also bosses, the orange monsters. So 25% more damage, it says more damage, so it's a multiplier which provides huge damage bonus. So Assassin is very good at boss killing. And also 10% reduced damage taken while there are at least 2 rare or unique, so this is also a little useful most of the times. And finally Mistwalker, this basically gives you elusive. Elusive is dodge and also some movement speed, which decays over time, but you get elusive each time you crit, basically almost all the time you crit. So once your elusive buff runs off, you will get a new one immediately. You are also immune to critical strike chance, so monsters cannot crit you when you have elusive. So this provides a huge survival bonus for mapping. And also you take 8% reduced damage taken That's also very important. So Assassin also has some decent defensive bonuses compared to most of the other characters that you can play, archer, bow character. So let's talk about items and then talent tree. So Arborix is probably the best choice right now, unless you have a very crazy, maybe influenced rare bow with at least 600 physical DPS or something like that. Because Arborix has 2 additional arrows, which also adds into barrage. And also, as you can see, I am shooting 3 ice shots right now, 5 with Dying Sun. So I'm not even using GMP or LMP on my ice shot, so I don't lose any damage at all. That's why ice shot can clear. Let's not say clear. Can kill even bosses easily, because the only downside gem setup is the chain, but all the other gems provide some damage bonus. We'll talk about those later. And that 2 additional arrow works very well for both barrage and ice shot overall. And some other stuff, let's talk about that very fast. So you will notice that it says lots of stuff. So basically iron reflex is this here. So this means that you will lose all your evasion, let's say, if I have that buff. So currently I have, alright, now it is here. So I currently have 35% evade, but every 8 seconds I lose that, because I get iron reflexes, but I hit 30% more damage with arrows at close range. Close range is basically just side of the monster, you know, right? Close range. Also works well with point blank here. Projectile attacks, it deals up to 30% more damage to targets at the start of their movement. So combined with this, you are obviously shooting barrage for beefy targets like Guardians, Cyrus, those kind of stuff. So you just want to go directly under the boss and shoot your barrage, and that's it. So basically you will get benefit from all that Arborix buff and also point blank. So you can actually unlock Iron Reflex yourself here like this and get that bonus all the time. But you will lose your evasion, which I currently have 35%. We will see that in soon. Yeah, 35%. So you will basically lose your evasion. But that's something that you can do if you want. If you stop leveling maybe and you are only killing bosses, you can just go for that if you want. So if you don't have iron reflexes, you will also get 30% increased attack cast and movement speed, which is very good. Currently I have iron reflexes. You will notice the difference soon. Let's see. Yeah, you notice that the big movement speed bonus right now. So this is very good for mapping. So very good bow overall. And it is only like for exalted 6 link Arborix in this current league. So it is very cheap. So let's talk about the chest piece. So why Farul's Fury? Since they added the cards, the divination cards, this chest is very cheap right now, considering this is an end game build. So the 6 link is like 6 exalt right now, very cheap. So this chest provides 2 things. First, Aspect of the Cat reserves no mana, so you need to put Aspect of Cat buff in one of your gear, which I have on my amulet right now. You can also put it on your ring. I recommend you to put it on some of your jewelry, maybe belt or amulet or rings. So Aspect of Cat has 2 different buffs. One increases your critical strike chance, other one increases your I believe movement speed, attack and cast speed, yeah. And also the monsters will have hard time noticing you. You will get a little invisible, something like that. So it takes a longer time for them to notice you. So it also helps a little. So this is basically a free buff. You can check the details on Gamepedia, obviously. So the other thing is you will get your frenzy and power charges, the maximum number, of course. So as you can see, I'm not doing anything right now. I'm sitting in the hideout, and my frenzy and power charges always keeps refreshing. And you can see the cat buff here switching all the time. there are two buffs that I just explained. So right now I have the attack and cast speed, and now I have the crit, and yeah, crit 1 provides that invisibility. Yeah, and also your charges gets refreshed all the time. You see, 12 seconds is enough for them to get refreshed. So obviously you can generate power charges because you are playing an assassin, but you cannot generate friends charges when you are fighting bosses. You can use blood rage for mapping maybe, but assassin doesn't have much regeneration, so blood rage isn't a good option. And also for boss fights you need to use frenzy skill to generate frenzy charges normally, so that's not something you want to do. So this chest fixes all of those issues and also provides a free buff and also nice evasion and some life. So definitely consider using this. You don't need explode because this is a cold build, so you are gonna shatter everything. So explode chest is basically useless, but you can maybe consider any other crazy influence rare chests if you think anything good. So just go for it. So other pieces, let's talk about helmet. So helmet is a little expensive if you try to do something like this, but obviously you don't need something like this. Normally you just need a barrage enchant and use Redeemer or Warlord Exalt maybe on it to craft that. Let's see. The redemption mode, nearby enemies have 9% less cold resist, is from Redeemer, and the critical multiplier is from Warlord. So I basically combined the two to craft this helm. You can only use one and have a little less DPS, which is fine. The DPS is very high, so you don't need something like this to start playing the build. You can just pick a barrage enchant and just go like that and craft something like this later when you have the money. Because you need to use Awaken Orb and Crusader and Redeemer Orb probably. You can just check those orbs prices. So it is a little pricey to craft something like this, but it will give you huge DPS. So Quiver, Voidfletcher. You don't need a corrupted one, it just provides a little DPS bonus. Normal ones are like 30 chaos, I believe, which is very cheap. So the main reason to use this is once you use a skill, it can be barrage or it can be ice shot. You cannot check it in hideout. Let's go somewhere, because you need to have monsters in order for it to proc. So you can see that I have void arrows and 5 stacks is the maximum. So once you use something, you will also fire some void arrows and they will explode after a short duration. I can also summon those with a barrage or ice shot, anything you want. So they get summoned on your cursor, mouse cursor. So if I put here, they will be here, and if I put my mouse here, they will be far over the edge. So once you are mapping, you can use ice shot like this at a range, and let's see that this is the boss. Now you are using barrage obviously, so your mouse cursor will be here, so they will explode here on top of each other near the boss. That's how to use your quiver. So those voice shots also deal some damage. So, and also let's see what else. Cold damage to attacks, some cold resist, projectile speed, lots of useful stuff. And also this is a cheap quiver, so you can get a corrupted one if you want. So I bought this for, I believe, 4 or 5 exalts for that extra cold damage, physical as extra. You can maybe pick something different for cheaper or just use a normal one. This will just, min-max your DPS a little more with the corruption. So amulet, just use a rare one, or you can also use Pantheons, which actually gives more DPS right now, I believe, compared to my amulet. But I have also Aspect of Cat, so I need to put that somewhere else if I want to use Pantheons. So Pantheons is a very good amulet for DPS, and also you blind targets easily. But you can get blind somewhere else easily, so it doesn't matter that much. But for the penetration and some cold damage, Pantheons is a very good choice, but it provides no health, so I didn't use that. So if you want to use something rare, just focus on critical multiplier, life, some missing stats, and if you can get one, try to get one with a shaper or redeemer influence, so you can get that physical damage as extra cold, which gives good DPS, and also flat physical to attacks, which my amulet has tier 5, so it is very bad. So these are all good stats. Also there is elemental damage with attacks as a prefix, so that's also a good stat to boost your DPS. So just try to get a mixture of these, whatever you can. So probably the best stats are crit multi and a high flat physical. So that physical damage as extra cold is obviously good, but a tier 1 physical damage to attacks probably gives more DPS. So this amulet will probably cost not the same one, obviously, because I crafted this. There are no amulets like this on the market. So what I did is just use Essence of Scorns for that guaranteed crit multi, and then just use one until you get maybe the physical damages extra, or maybe some good flat fears, something like that. It is not actually that hard to craft. Most amulets are at least 5 exalts on the market, so they are very cheap to craft. I always craft my amulets when I play builds like this, so it is very easy to craft one. You can also use Contempt for that high flat physical roll. That also gives a very good DPS, because this is a convert build. I forgot to mention that. So as you can see, my bow deals physical damage. So that physical, we are all converting that into cold damage later, thanks to Winter Spirit and the Watcher's Eye. So you can focus on that flat physical and crit multi easily with essences. That's how I did it. So rings, Mark of Elder is a very good ring for DPS, and also it provides stun immunity against attack hits. So normally archer builds don't have that much armor, so you get stunned easily to physical attacks, melee hits, something like that. But since they added Awakener orbs, notice that my ring has 2 different influences right now. Check the top corners, left and right. So left is Shaper, right is Elder. So you basically need to get 2 different rings. Just pick one as Vermilion for more health if you want, or maybe you can use Opal ring for more DPS. And pick the other one, just a random ring with the right influence, Shaper or Elder, depending on what you got on your other ring. Just combine the 2 with Awaken Orb, and then craft it with something if you want, or maybe just focus on 2 different mobs and combine them when using Awaken Orb. Maybe you can put Assassin Mark if you want. And crit multi is something you can get from, I believe, Elder, yeah. So you can basically combine crit multi and Assassin's Mark if you want. I didn't want Assassin's Mark, I just used the orb and then crafted this with essence, because I needed strength, so I just used strength essence, this one. And I luckily hit crit multi and annulled the ring, and that's it. So just focus on whatever you want on your ring. If you use Assassin's Mark, I didn't mention my gloves yet, but if you use Assassin's Mark, you don't need this glove like this. So let's talk about the glove, and you will get the idea. So these gloves, you will notice that there are 5 implicits, but 2 of them are useless. So this is not actually something very expensive. So the main things you want is a curse, obviously elemental weakness, because there is no Assassin's Mark on gloves. So elemental weakness is the best curse you can get on your gloves, and +1 to maximum frenzy charges, because we generate them all the time automatically thanks to Firewall. So those 2 is enough to get started, and you don't even need that attack speed as a 3rd corruption. If you have more money, just go for more corruptions like this, attack speed. I have socketed duration and curse, they are useless, they don't do anything. So I bought this for 3 exalts. The only thing, the ones with only frenzy and ele weakness are like 2 exalts the last time I checked. So if you add a third corruption, it will go up to 5 exalts, I believe. And as I said earlier, I bought mine for 3 exalts. So you will only get some, maybe a little more attack speed for that third corruption, which doesn't make any big difference. You can also get life, or maybe attacks have critical strike chance, but maybe that stats, that mod price are maybe a little higher, I don't know. So just spend whatever you want, whatever your budget is, or just pick one for 2 exalt with only frenzy and ele weakness. Then that will carry you all the way. So only 2 exalts for a gloves, which is very cheap. So belt, just stack resists and life and ele damage with attacks. So you can easily buy a belt for like 1 or 2 exalts with only life and triple resist and ele damage like this. So the thing that you want to do to achieve this kind of belt, as you can see, it has hunter influence and also 7% increase max life. So I will explain you how to craft this. So you need to get a belt with 3 resists. Obviously one can be crafted like this, and also a life, and make sure it has at least 1 open prefix. So I also have elemental immediate attack, so this means that this belt had only 1 open prefix when I put the fire resist on it. Then you slam it with Hunter Exaltor. There are 4 different outcomes that it can happen. One is life, one is chaos damage, which is also good. You don't want that, obviously. You will sell that belt if you get that, and you will make profit. And one is flasks flask don't use charges when you use them for like 8%, something like that. And the other is you get a flask charge each time you crit. So there are 4 different possibilities that you can get. One of that flask stuff has a very low chance to get, so you probably won't get that. So actually you have a very high chance of getting a life or a chaos damage. So as I said earlier, if you get any of the other stuff, just sell the belt for a higher price. Most of the time you get profit by doing this. So it is like free to try this kind of thing, and you will even make profit by trying if you are unlucky. So just buy the belt with open prefix and slam it with hunter for more life, that's it. This is only for more life, this doesn't do anything to our DPS. So if you don't have enough money right now, just skip it. Just buy a belt with enough resist, life and ele damage, that's it. So I believe we only have boots left here. So boots, as I said at the start of the video, I believe you only need tailwind, some life and movement speed. You can easily cap your resist on your ring. You don't need to craft something like this. Or actually a very simple let's say solution to this. So the boots is probably one of the most expensive pieces right now I am wearing, because I had to put 2 resists into this. If you put only life, movement speed and what else, tailwind, this will cost maybe 5 exalt, I'm not sure, but it won't cost more than 10 exalt, alright? So you can just get rid of Mark of Elder, get rid of this. You don't need this influence because this was also a little expensive. Mark of Elder is cheap. Just dump these, get 2 different rare rings. You can just buy them, you do not even need to craft, and just put all that strength, life, resist and some ele damage on those rings. Cap your resist, cap your strength. Like you notice that I can't wear these right now because I need that strength. So just use normal rings for cheaper, and also buy a cheaper boots and you are good to go. If you have more money, you can craft stuff like I did and buy a better boots maybe, but this will let you save maybe 15 exalts, up to 20 exalts, let's say. This will save you a lot of money if you play with 2 normal rings and the cheaper boots. Let's not forget to open our aspect again. So flasks, Quicksilver for mapping, obviously. You notice that I don't even have movement speed on my Quicksilver because I had to put freeze somewhere. We are very fast as an assassin thanks to those ascension nodes that I just showed. So you don't even need that movement speed, just put freeze or curse and put the other on your silver flask. Make sure you have reduced charge cost so you can drink it 2 times. Dying Sun for 2 additional projectiles, which is good for clear and also very good for single target, so this is a must. Battle Fate, you don't need this at all for mapping. This is mostly for endgame bosses. So actually, let's see, Vizok is probably better for mapping. Make sure your cold resist is the highest, and if you can just balance those resists, that will be very good. So you will also get that 10% reduced damage taken of each element if you can balance your resist. Or just make sure your cold resist is highest so you can get that penetration. So just stick with Vizok until you get that Battle Fate, or just don't get Battle Fate at all because it is very expensive. You obviously don't need it because the DPS is very high. And finally, a Divine Flask with instant recovery and bleeding on it. If you have Corrupted Blood immunity jewel like I do, but I still use a bleed flask which doesn't really work, you can put ignite on it because some right now we are in Delirium, so there are some Delirium attacks that puts ignite on you, and also there is a Guardian, Elder Guardian, I believe it is Purifier or maybe Enslaver, I'm not sure. That guy also has some huge ignites, so actually ignite flask really helps. So if you have Corrupted Blood immunity, you can put ignite on your life flask. But make sure that you have curse and freeze on your other 2 flasks. And when I am bossing, you know, like Elder, Shaper, Cyrus, those kind of stuff, I replace silver with Cinder Swallow. This is also a silver flask, but it also provides DPS bonus against ignited targets. I currently have fire damage attack on my ring. If you don't have it on your jewelry, make sure you put it in your abyssal jewel. So this is my abyssal jewel right now. It just gives attack speed and blind because I am not using Pantheons. So make sure you put blind on your abyss jewel if you want. And fire damage if you want to use Cinder Swallow because you need to ignite the target. Normally we are dealing cold damage because this is a cold build. I'm using Cinder Swallow, and on fights like Cyrus you don't need movement speed. I also replace it with Dying Sun, Vizok. So this is my setup for Cyrus, and this is my setup for Shaper, Elder. You can also still use Vizok if you want, but especially Uber Elder has some, you know, escaping moments. You need to dodge, you know, tentacles and stuff, so Quicksilver really helps. But on Cyrus, if you know the fight very well, like I do, you don't need that movement speed at all. Because I have killed the boss like maybe 200 times since 3.9. And this is my flasks. So for gems, Ice Shot, Mirage Archer, Hypothermia, Shane, Elemental Damage Attacks, Inspiration, Barrage, Awaken Added Cold, Inspiration, LA damage with attacks, it is again awakened if you can afford it. Cold penetration, awakened, hypothermia. So for buffs, hatred, enlighten, level 3 is fine. I just used 4 for more precision levels. Precision and Herald of Ice. Cast when damage taken, steel skin. Frost bomb, increased duration for that extra cold exposure, that it reduces the resist of the enemy. So make sure you use that on Guardians, Cyrus, those kind of hard bosses. Just put it under the boss. And finally for mobility, dash, second wind, enhance, and also I have portal because I don't use portal scrolls that much. So let's talk about talent tree. So I'm not gonna explain about leveling, just level whatever you want. I actually leveled as Frostblades because I wanted to use Arborix and all of this stuff to start playing as an archer. So just level, you can level with Ice Shot and Barrage. That works actually. So once you have enough level to use all of this stuff, just equip those and start destroying the maps. So I needed to save some points, but you can go like this, attack speed, that's also good. But I need to save some points, which we will see. So coordination, attack speed, life, damage crit, assassination, crit, multi-crit chance. So you go like this. Movement speed, physical damage, and some dexterity. So blood drinker for some life and leech. This is how you get life leech. So depth perception, this gives accuracy and crit chance. So you need to increase your accuracy. I don't have 100% right now because I don't have accuracy on any of my items. If you somehow get accuracy on your amulet or rings or maybe even helm, you can maybe respect these points and put it somewhere else. So make sure you have at least 95% accuracy at all times. And don't forget that your accuracy will get lowered every time you level up. So let's say you have 100% at level 90 maybe, and now you are 98. You will notice that your hit is now maybe 95% down from 100% because you will lose accuracy each time you level up. So make sure you keep your, balance your accuracy depending on your levels. So at least 95%. So this provides lots of accuracy and also crit. So friends charge, a jewel socket here. Do not take this jewel socket if you are not this high level. Just save that 3 points. So here we have some clusters. Let's just talk about the tree first, then I'm going to talk about the clusters. So acrobatics, phase acrobatics. So intuitive leap. So you can allocate the nodes without connecting them. So Heartseeker is very good for crit multi. Equity is for good again for accuracy and some attack speed. I got this because I hit level 98 and I didn't have anything to get, so I got this for 1% accuracy. Frenzy again, herbalism, life. You can actually delete these two, but I needed life, so I picked them up. Anyways, so some elemental damage here, some bow stuff. This is how you get mana leech. Some life, some cold damage and penetration. Point blank is for that boss damage at close ranges. So this is how you convert 40% of your physical to cold. And finally some attack speed, life and more life. So let's talk about the cluster jewels. You can actually play without cluster jewels. I will probably share a paste bin without clusters. Maybe they will get nerfed, I don't know. But these are not something that most people use, so I doubt that they are gonna get nerfed. I don't think they will. So let's talk about the large ones first. Obviously the best ones have 2 jewel sockets. So prismatic art for that elemental damage and resist. This lets you cap your resist easily. So the most important thing here is blanketed snow for that 10% cold resistance penetration against chilled enemies. So you chill easily because this is a cold build, so you get the 10% cold penetration all the time. So this helps with boss damage a lot. And the final one is disorienting display to blind nearby enemies when you use an elemental skill. So ice shot blinds with this actually, and also it has 25% elemental damage. So this actually doesn't provide that much, so you can maybe get only prismatic and blanketed for cheaper. These jewels are like 2 or 3 exalts the last time I checked, so they are a little pricey, let's say. But if you skip maybe this, they will probably be way cheaper. So my other large is also the same, disorienting, prismatic, and blanketed. So the medium ones. So the only difference is the different one is this one. The other ones are all the same. Let's talk about these first. So these are critical strike chance. These ones are cold. If you want to check them, make sure you get 8 passive skill large, because 9 actually is makes you put one more point somewhere here. So you spend one extra. So get one with 8. But for mediums you can get 5 or 4 because they are the same. So as you see, these are 5. So you don't put this at all. Get this one. You can just go like this. So 5 passive skills are actually the same as 4. Let's see if you have 4. Yeah, this is 4. This is again 5. As you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is actually extra. So you can get 5 passives as mediums. So the crit one has Skullbreaker for crit multi and pressure points. So this is actually very important. So 40% crit chance, alright, and the other one is crit strikes have 5% chance to deal double damage. So double damage obviously doesn't mean double damage. If you are new to the game, or maybe you haven't checked this at all, maybe you still think that this is a double damage. No, it is not. It's actually 20% more damage. So blame Path of Exile developers for that. There are lots of stuff like this in this game that you will understand wrong unless you do some research. So this is actually 20% more damage, not double damage at all. But still, it's a very big damage boost. So I stacked 3 of these, one here and one here. So I have 15% chance to deal double damage on my crits, and my crit is 74%, 65 without the other buff, the cat buff, because it always rotates here. But with Battle Fate, I have 100% I believe right now. So for bosses, I do double damage all the time if I have my flasks up. So this is a very good DPS boost. And these are like 30-40 chaos each, these jewels. So I also bought lots of them and corrupt them until I get corrupt blood. If you have the money, you can just try those. I believe I also have something here. Let's see, 1% penetration. So these are very easy to buy and corrupt. If you have the money, go for it. They are like 30 chaos, 40 chaos. And the only different medium one is this one, curse effect. So you wonder why do I need this? So this one, enemies you curse take 5% increased damage, is good. Also 5% chance to dodge attack hits from cursed enemies is good for survival. But this isn't the main reason we are using. This is the main reason. Enemies you curse are intimidated and unnerved. So unnerve is for spells, so we don't use that. But unnerve, intimidate is for attacks, which it says enemies take 10% increased attack damage, which is a huge damage boost. So we curse enemies with our glow corruption all the time. As I mentioned earlier, you can use assassin mark ring maybe and use a different glows. So make sure you have a curse somewhere, so you will get that intimidate all the time, and also this increased damage and also 5% dodge. So this is a very powerful, both survival and both DPS wise. So just use 1 of this and 3 of this one. And finally, smalls have fatal for life. We need to increase that life, so you are using fatal. You can also put normal jewels. I have my Watcher's Eye here. So for Watcher's Eye, so let's just finish fatal first. So fatal, obviously, this is a small jewel with 2 passives, and fatal is one thing you can get, but you notice that there are some other stats here. So the most important ones are attributes, intellect, and strength, because you need to cap your stats so you can use these gems and some items maybe. So this one has intellect and increase effect. It's also that increase effect increases this life by 1%. This is normally 4%. Let's see. Yeah, this one doesn't have increased effect, so you can see that it is 4% increased life. If you put increased effect, it will be 5%. So that increased effect is also good. And also make sure you put intellect and maybe what else I have. strength, again intellect, effect, those kind of stuff. So make sure you keep your attributes. And yeah, that's it. And finally, for my rare jewels, so I have one here for some resist cap, of course, then life, attack speed, damage. This isn't actually that insane because I had to cap my resists. But finally, Watcher's Eye. So the best thing you can get is something like this, but this is very expensive. So you don't need this at all because our DPS, as I said earlier, is insane. So the only thing that you need is physical damage convert to cold. They were around 5 exalts the last time I checked, but this is PoE, so everything changes every league, let's say. So if you are watching this after Delirium League, maybe the prices are different. So just get a conversion if it is expensive right now, maybe the one you are playing right now. Just get something else. Precision crit is also very good alone, or you can get precision attack damage. Hatred also has penetration, that is also very good. Also has added cold damage, something like that, again hatred. So those are all very good, but I believe this is the best one if you get one like this, you know, double Watcher's Eye, but it is very expensive. So try to get one of those that I just said, and you are good to go. And I believe that's it. Yeah, I hope I didn't miss anything. Maybe Pantheons, but they don't really matter that much. I didn't even upgrade them because I forgot. So I'm using Lunaris for maybe that a little more movement speed for mapping for each enemy, you know, nearby. Just use Lunaris, Solaris, or Aracali, one of those. They are all good depending on what you want. And the minor one is obviously Shakari for that poison immunity. Make sure you do that Desert Spring map to get that poison immunity. That is very important. I believe I covered everything. If I forgot anything, don't hesitate to ask. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.